Hey everybody, thank you for clicking on this video. In today's video, I'm going to talk a little bit about the recent cabinet shuffle that we had in BC, and I'm also going to talk about Trudeau's $250 sort of, bribery thing that he's got going right now. So don't go anywhere. Let's get into it.
Like my friend Anita Krishna in Canada, she worked for a global news or a big news network. She started to ask just regular questions. She's like, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing? We're a news organization. Isn't that what we do as a news organization? And she got fired for that, of course.
Crazy.
Of course I did. Jimmy, I miss you. I haven't I've seen you guys in a long time. But yeah, I worked for Global News for 20 years and I was a control room director. So I was the person in the control room putting the newscast to air. And because I worked there for so many years, I worked on pretty much every single show they had. I worked on the noon news, I worked on the morning show, the news hour, news at 5, Global National. I mean, I directed hundreds of these shows because I had worked there for so many years. I'll show you a picture of me in the control room. That's me, and just you're in a dark room with a lot of monitors, just sort of cutting cameras, coding the show. And we actually were TDs also because, back in the old day, the director could go ready to take two, right? And you'd have a guy pressing the buttons on a switcher. But then we automated and there's no talking. I'm not saying ready to take two. I'm the one switching the buttons on a keyboard and firing things with like we would code the show and trigger the codes with buttons on our keyboard. So if we were going to camera one with an anchor wearing the sports microphone, we would code that before the show and then just fire it and trigger it as the show went on, which makes it really difficult when breaking news happened because you had to learn how to sort of hot cut things. And I don't know if people remember in BC when we first came up with this automation, we're all trying to use it. We had lots of on-air mistakes, and I think that cost us a lot of viewers because this automation was really difficult to get around. It was called Mossart. Many of you may remember how many times we got stuck on the air because it really is a system that you don't just train people a little bit and send them off to use it. I've made my share of mistakes, screwing up on NewsHour, screwing up on Chris Galitz's shot openly. He actually called my name on the air once. He's like, Anita, are you with me? And I was like, oh my God, like I had messed up something because the camera guy didn't frame it up the way I wanted to. And then I got stuck. But I'm not trying to blame anybody else, but it was just like a very much a learning curve with that type of software. But anyway, I'm going on. That's my job. That's what I did for a really long time. And then when all the COVID stuff happened, I was questioning it because I thought it was absolutely absurd, everything we were doing to the public, and we weren't telling them any other side of the story. In fact, I'm going to link a video in the description. This video. I was thinking about this today. I talked about the day that Omicron came to town. And this is a really funny story. And I don't know if I can share it on this platform, but I'll put a link in the description because it was utterly ridiculous what we were saying to the public when Omicron came to town. So I'll put a link in the description. That video will be on another platform, but just click the link and then you can watch that video and it will give you some insight into the utter lunacy of the mainstream news. But that's not really a secret anymore. I mean, everybody knows how the legacy media has just lost the plot, lost their nuts, and they have to double down and they have to dig in harder because it's really hard to really admit that you made such a grievous mistake to the public, especially with the COVID stuff. But anyway, getting on to today's video. We've recently had a cabinet shuffle here in BC. I'm just going to touch on this a little bit. A new slate of 27 BC cabinet ministers has been sworn in, including some people who are quite experienced and some people who are new to the job. So David Eby is saying that this job of serving in government and serving on the executive council is an awesome and serious responsibility. British Columbians call on us to do it with integrity. This is what he said on Monday. So the new, whatever, dude, you barely eked out this win. And I had done several videos on sort of voters, what, vote tabulators and all that type of thing. And certain platforms don't like it when you talk about voting either, if you know what I mean. So they don't like you to call attention to certain things. But whatever, if you want us to accept that you won, whatever, you won. Although I talk to many people every day who just cannot believe it, but whatever. Okay. So the new BC NDP government holds the 47 seats that they needed, 47 out of the 93 seats in the legislature, and the BC and the NDP MLAs were sworn into office on November 13th. Let's take a little look at some of these folks here. Here they're all getting sworn in. You'll see some new faces. They're all, yeah, here they all, aren't they earnest? Okay. Yeah. Some changes have been made. Let's just have a look here. Oh, there's Adrian Dix, and there's EB with his EB scoliosis. Mike Farnworth, Adrian Dix, Ravi Kalan, Bowen Ma, and this is Nikki Sharma. And that's Josie Osborne. She's going to be the new health person. So I don't know a lot about these people. Bowen Ma was the Minister of Infrastructure, Minister of Emergency Management. Do you remember that? Do you remember her when the shoe swap thing happened and she would be like, just stay in your homes or whatever, do what we say. And it's like, I don't know, like people who are going through wildfires and have fought fires and live in certain residential area, they know what to do. I would trust their instincts. If something happened to me in my house here, I would trust my instincts at how to save my family. I would not sit there and just wait for the government to tell me what to do. But I remember her watching clips of her going, I don't like what she's saying. But anyway, now she's the Minister of Infrastructure. Ravi Kalan is still in with housing. Mike Farnworth is the Minister of Transportation and Transit now. And Nikki Sharma, someone I don't like, we don't know much about these people. I don't know. She is the pretty big job, man. She's the Deputy Premier. So I decided to go, okay, let's just have a look at her Twitter. So the first thing that you'll see is East Hastings. I mean, that's her riding, Vancouver Hastings, right? She's a lawyer, advocate for people, the planet, and a stargazer. The first thing you see when you come to her is that, oh, she's moving over to Blue Sky. Okay, why? Already, I'm like, really? You're going to Blue Sky? Okay, you say no more. Okay, you people in your Blue Sky safe space echo chamber, you got to have some balls to hack it out on X. You got to stay on X. What do you think? Here, do you think that people like myself, you do something publicly, you have to have a thick skin or you get out of the game, right? People are going to hate you. People are going to criticize you. People are going to comment on you. That's just how it goes. So you can't all just be like, we're going to Blue Sky. We're leaving. We can't handle it. Most of the people that go to Blue Sky that I see on my social media are all people that worked for legacy media or they still work for legacy media and they got to go there. Like people who were my friends who I feel bad naming, but they're all like, oh, I'm going to Blue Sky. Well, you look foolish. You look like you can't stand the heat. So you get out of the kitchen. Anyway, back to a little more of Nikki Sharma. Okay. Cause I don't know that much about her. So she's going to Blue Sky. And just looking at some of her tweets, she's got a lot of John Horgan stuff here. That's too bad that he passed. So rest in peace. I mean, she loves her David Eby. This is her jam. After a close and hard-fought campaign, British Columbians have asked us to keep working to make life better for them. Well, you haven't because you've been in power for 2 years, but yeah, this is all kind of just not that exciting. Oh, but she did have a post here about something derogatory about John Rustad, and I don't like seeing this type of stuff. You should be professional. She's put some stupid post about him. It's like, I don't see him doing that kind of stuff to her, right? So be professional. I find that the liberal NDP people are so venomous and critical against the people that they don't like. Even this Josie Osborne woman, again, she says here that John Rusted has not fired this candidate is the epitome of weak leadership. I mean, she's criticizing Brent Chapman, who's very popular, who won in a landslide vote in his riding. People like Brent Chapman. I've met him. I like him too. I mean, maybe people say things years ago. You're going to still hang that over your head. You liberal NDPs are still saying dumb things day in, day out. Nobody hangs that stuff over your head. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not too fond of these Libby types. These are not my people. And I also don't like people being so rude and so slanderous and so mean-spirited to the other side, because I don't see the conservatives as being like that. They just call things as they see it. Yet they get name called. You get called all kinds of names. Everybody's sick of this crap. But anyway, a little bit more about the cabinet. Here's a little piece breaking it down. This is from Rob Shaw, and he did this for Czech News. So thanks. I got the visuals from YouTube. I'm just going to roll this for you.
Promoted from Jobs Minister to Finance Minister, a huge portfolio during a cost of living crisis. And Tofino's Josie Osborne promoted to Health Minister from the Energy portfolio, a massively challenging job during ER closures, citing rural health care, the Premier in one of the choices for Josie Osborne. Here is Osborne. Okay, back to the cabinet. The Mental Health Ministry eliminated, folded into Health. So that minister, Jennifer Whiteside, is moved to Labour. Gary Begg, the comeback kid who won the NDP their majority by flipping Surrey Guildford by 22 votes, rewarded with the post of Solicitor General. He's also a former RCMP officer. Adrian Dix, BC's longest-serving health minister, moved to the Energy Ministry, which has lost mining but has picked up Clean BC and climate initiatives. Lisa Baer, moving from tourism to education. Jody Wickens becoming her Minister of State for Child Care. And a new mining and critical minerals portfolio with new Minister Jag Group Brar. Bowen Mott now in an infrastructure ministry to fast-track projects like new schools. The island here, you can see the MLAs who made cabinet, 6 of the 27 ministers, but some new faces. Ravi Parmar in Langford is taking over the forest ministry. Sheila Malcolmson retaining social development. Grace Lohr retaining children and family development. And Oak Bay's Diana Gibson, a rookie, called up right away as the new jobs minister. Plus, Saanach's Lana Papa moving back to agriculture, a portfolio she often talked about how much she loved. New faces to cabinet. Randene Neill in the water, lands and resource portfolio. Mike Farnworth moved to transportation. Spencer Chandra Herbert in tourism. Christine Boyle in Indigenous relations. Kelly Green, emergency management. Tamara Davidson in environment, which takes on parks.
Okay, a couple of things there. So Adrian Dix, that ever-loving, science lover, follow the science, Mr. Adrian Dix, he's now going to be the Minister of Energy and Climate Solutions. Oh, God. He already thinks that Bonnie Henry is some sort of genius. He doesn't acknowledge any of the things that we need him to acknowledge when he was Minister of Health. I mean, he was there through all the, I don't know how many press conferences I did with Adrian Dix, boring the crap out of us for COVID-19. And then they put on the Bonnie too. And it was just like, it'd make you want to pull your hair out listening to these things. With not only did they say stupid things, they said them in the most dull voice that you can ever even imagine. But somebody who didn't know anything about health is also going to be the Minister of Energy now. What does he know about energy and climate solutions? It's going to be more of this sort of ridiculous, you are the carbon they want to reduce crap. I'm not into that. At the end of that piece, you did see that he mentioned Randene Neill was going to be with water, lands, and resources. Now, Randene Neill, I worked with her for decades, and she's an NDPer. I obviously don't agree with her politics, but she's a lovely, lovely woman. I mean, you can't say anything bad about her. She's so uninhibited and free. And I think that that's what made her such a good presenter on air. And she was so funny with Squire. She would just say funny things. She was just a really delightful on-air personality. And she was a really hard-working reporter. And she just really enjoyed the job as far as I could see. And Yeah, Global did her wrong, I gotta say. I mean, she was an anchor and a producer for a long time. She was working the weekend news, as was I. And she liked her shift because you do 4 to midnight on the weekend. She had Monday, Tuesday off, and then she reported 3 days a week. And she loved that shift. She told me how many times she liked that shift. And then when Jill had brought in Sonia Diol, Jill Kropp, who was our news director for a while, it wasn't working out on the morning show with Sonia Diol and Steve Darling. And so they needed a place to put her. So they're like, Randene, you go to the morning show. It's only going to be temporary. And then they put Sonia in her position. Now, Sonia, I don't have anything bad to say about also. I mean, she's a handful. She's a high maintenance kind of tornado of a woman, but she's a very good presenter, very good interviewer, very good on air. She's slow. Like when she goes to do something, she needs a lot of hand holding. Like she doesn't like cut a story together as fast as everyone else does. She just comes from maybe the BBC where she maybe had more help, but I don't have anything bad to say about her. But they put her on Randene's shift and then took Randene and put her on the morning shift and told Randene that it would be a temporary thing. Then months were going by, like weeks and months, and Randene was like, I don't want to get up at 2:30 in the morning. Because when her and I both started, we were both working morning show. And you do get up at literally, I would get up at 3:50. I hated it, and the anchors had to get up even earlier. So she just was like, didn't want that for her life. And they weren't taking her off the show. They were not switching her back to her normal position. Like after so many years of working there, like help her out. I mean, she's a good employee. You don't want to lose her. But that's what Global is like. They don't care. They'll just let you go. And she was like, I have to quit. Like, I cannot get up at this ungodly hour anymore. And unfortunately, Jill Kropp didn't give her old position back, and she let Randene quit. And I remember there was this big newsroom meeting, and we were announcing that Randene was leaving, and Jill said, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. And I was like, oh, that's not nice. You should be like, I'm so sorry to see her go. And also, Jill should be doing right by the employee. Like, she's a good employee. You want to hang on to her. People are disposable at Global. It doesn't matter. And I remember Chris Galis was really emotional that day because he didn't want to see her go. And he's got emotion and stuff like that, as much as he's lost his mind over this COVID stuff, like he does have a heart. I don't know where it is now, but he did, I mean, he was just sad to see her go, and it was sad. Oh my God, I've completely gone off topic. Okay, so back to that. So that's the cabinet shuffle. Nobody likes the NDP. We can't believe they got in, but let's see what they do. I don't have any faith in what they're going to do whatsoever. Now, let's get on to the other part of the video. Sorry, I've taken so long here. This is about the $250 that Trudeau wants to give you. Sorry, also just one more note before I move on. Whenever there's like a cabinet shuffle or cabinet picks or whatever, I always find that like really sort of interesting, is that how someone could be like the Minister of Emergency Management or the Minister of Mining, like that Josie Osborne was involved in energy mines and low carbon innovation. And now she's going to be Minister of Health. So what did that mean? It's not all about just building hospitals. You have to have people to staff those hospitals. You have to have good working conditions for doctors, for nurses, for healthcare. You kind of have to reduce everybody just going into administration, because you need people who are kind of like the boots on the ground, people who are looking after people. There's a lot involved in healthcare. And if you're a woke person, your ideas are not going to jive with a majority of people in BC. We are not going to agree with a lot of your decisions if you don't acknowledge that what you did to people by forcing a certain thing was the wrong thing to do. So I don't know. I don't think that this woman agrees. So I'm not too impressed with this Josie Osborne as the health minister. And, all of a sudden, like, you're minister of one thing and then you get changed into the minister of the other. So how much expertise and knowledge do you have in that different industry? I don't know. I've always sort of wondered that. But also this happens in the States too. You don't need to be a doctor to be in charge of like um, health or HHS or whatever, right? So it's kind of like that's how it goes. But I do always find it curious, like a curious thing. You better bloody figure it out. You people are skating on thin ice. The Liberal Party, the NDP, excuse me, you are all skating on thin ice. So now, okay, speaking of that, let's get back to this $250 thing. So Trudeau is what does he actually think that people buy this stuff and eat this stuff up, that you think that you're going to get this piddly paltry little amount in your wallet and you'll be like, okay, yeah, we love you, we forget about all the terrible things you did, like he's some sort of abusive boyfriend and we just forgive you or whatever? No, we don't forgive. But here's the latest from Trudeau.
For 2 months, starting December 14th, we're going to remove the GST, HST from groceries. 100% of groceries, all groceries. We're going to remove the GST from restaurant meals, takeouts, fast food. Removing the GST from beer and wine. Removing the GST for essentials like kids' clothing, footwear, diapers, and toys. For 2 months, Canadians are going to get a real break on everything they do. We also know that there's more we need to do. So if you worked in 2023 and earned up to $150,000, we're going to be sending you a check for $250. The Working Canadians rebate of $250, which will be sent to people in April, is going to give people that relief they need. People are squeezed, and we're there to help.
If you earned $150,000 or less in 2023, you should be expecting a check of $250. This GST break is only temporary because it's going to go from December 14th to February 15th. Whoopie doodah, right? And I don't know how this is actually going to work, because a lot of the merchants will have to change their POS, system, because it's all in place now. It's all calculating the GST, so they're going to have to fix that. But also in April 2025, the Liberals will increase the carbon tax by 19%. So it's giveth, take it, but it's mostly take, because you've already taken from us. And so what does this actually mean, that he's proposing to eliminate the GST on lots of goods? But what exactly are these goods? More money back in your pocket. This is on Canada.ca. The government is proposing the GST and HST be fully and temporarily relieved on holiday essentials. Like restaurant meals, drinks, snacks, children's clothing. I mean, I also heard Lego and rotisserie chicken was also involved in this. But so children's clothing, okay, fine. Children's footwear, fine. Diapers, good. Go ahead. Printed books, print newspapers. Food and beverages, so alcoholic beverages, excluding spirits. Carbonated beverages, so I guess you can get pop. Candies, confectionery, candy or goods sold as candies, candy floss, chewing gum, and chocolate. Popcorn, fruit, nuts, seeds, chocolate, honey, sugar, syrup, that type of thing. Chips, crisps, puffs. I hope you can get meat. I don't know if you can just get meat. Granola, because I'd like to just buy meat and vegetables. Ice lollies, juice bars, ice waters, ice cream, cakes, muffins, pudding, prepared salads, sandwiches, platters of cheese, cold cuts, fruits, and vegetables. Why are you doing this for only 2 months? If you're going to blow this stuff away, blow it away permanently. And also select toys here: board games, dolls, plush toys, jigsaw puzzles, and video game consoles. Okay, so this is like super, super bizarre. I think this is just another ploy to make himself more likable and more, appealing to the public. But nobody buys this stuff. And it's so funny. If you watch that clip back, look at Chrystia Freeland. She is such a weirdo. She's just such a weird lady. I mean, she's twitching and just bizarre. Her behavior is so bizarre. No, nobody is buying it. Nobody really accepts this. And so let's just have a look at what $250 might buy you, or what if, I don't even have to tell you, we're all buying groceries. We all know what it's like. Let's just take a look at what some people have posted. Okay, let's have a look at this. I believe there is quite a bit of swearing in this.
The hell, this small amount of stuff just came to $218. How?
Ugh.
Somebody tell me. This was literally 3 bags of groceries.
Oh.
3 bags. $218? Like, are you joking? Guys, this is not okay anymore. Like, we have a serious fucking problem here in Canada. Like, why? Why is this happening?
Good question. Good question. Why is it happening? Okay, this one person here says, you're looking at 1 bag of groceries and a case of pop for $100.77 in Canada. Goodbye, middle class. Hello, poverty. This here. This is $160 in groceries today in Ontario. This was in May. It was enough to fill 2 small bags and isn't my full necessarily weekly grocery shop. No meat, no eggs or dairy, just some produce and a few extras. This is utterly insane. Yeah. It's pretty bad. Like this $250 rebate. It's insulting. I don't even know how they stand there and go, "We're giving you $250," and they're so proud of themselves. It reminds me of like a video that I did that not too many people watched, but it was Chrystia Freeland bragging about how she went to a school in Winnipeg, and she was giving everybody bannock and some milk and a banana, and she's so proud of herself when they really just gouge so much money from the province. Like, don't they see? Don't they get it? Are they absolutely delusional? I don't know. Anyway, those are my little rants. I kind of went on a little bit today, but I'm going to leave you with, remember that show? What was it? Well, they used to end it off saying, "This is your moment of Zen." I think it was The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, who's absolutely a bit of a turd now. But then Craig Kilborn took it over.
That one to me is so crazy that someone is keeping that information from the rest of the humans.
Parents are a pair who rents. Because you don't own your child, you sign them away using a signature. You signed your nature with a sigil. Sigil is a symbol used in witchcraft. Oh my God! You are born into this world, and the word born comes from barren, which means lifeless, dull, and boring. Then you are controlled by the government, the governmentality. They control your mind. Everything physical began as a thought in the thinking mind. The mind is the root cause of reality, so they control your mind, not your body. They do this by broadcasting spells to north, east, west, and south, the news. My God! Wow! Then they teach you the vowels in this specific order, A, E, I, O, U, to teach you that you owe them to become a slave. You are weak in the weekdays because you are working. Where you were a king, you are no longer a king if you are working. Then on the weekend, you are weakened from the weekdays. Days is a daze where you are in a state of confusion. The television is used to tell a vision to program you on the programs. They want you to think slaughter is laughter, hello is hell is low. Words are swords because they mold your mind. They also create 3-dimensional sound waves which impacts the fabric of matter. I believe that we were never meant to use words. Language has been manipulated so that we no longer use telepathy because we are all connected on the mental plane.
Oh God, I was going to end the show on a happy note, but that kind of like freaked me out a little bit. Is that right? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, something to think about. Thank you so much for watching this video today. If you like my videos, please like and subscribe. And I know you're not going to like them all. So sometimes I do videos and sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. I don't know. You kind of don't know what the YouTube algorithm wants. I just kind of make the videos that I find interesting. Some of them I know are hits and misses and whatever, but I keep going because I really enjoy doing this. If you enjoy following me on this journey, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because that helps me to make more videos. Believe it or not, that's why everyone says it. So hit the subscribe button. You can turn on your post notifications so you don't miss another video from me because I'm so random. You don't know when I'm going to do another one. I thank you for watching this video today. I'm also on Rumble. I'll catch you soon. Check out the description. Thanks for watching.